Disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976 allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit educational or personal use. Tips the balance in favor of fair use. Colombiana 2 2025. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Friends, this is not a movie, this is a full detail review and fact video about this movie. If you want to know about this movie, then you must like this video, because in today's video we will tell you what is its story, which actors and actresses have worked in this film. The director, producer, cameraman of this film is going to talk about them in detail. We will talk about the post-production, pre-production budget, and filming of this film. The star cast of the film will also give details about the supporting cast and production. Guys, if you want to know about this movie, you must watch this video. You will find all the details of this movie in this video. What is the story of this movie? If you like this video, then share it with your friends and subscribe our channel. Colombiana 2 in 2025 has not been officially announced or confirmed by the original film's producers or studios. Colombiana 2 2025 brings back the fierce Catalia Restrepo, portrayed by Zoe Saldana, on another journey of vengeance and justice, following the events of the first film, where Catalia took down the men responsible for her parents' deaths. She now faces an even more dangerous challenge, a deadly syndicate that threatens to destroy everything she holds dear. Plot overview. The story begins with Catalia trying to lead a quieter life, having partially escaped the violent shadows of her past. She's found a small semblance of peace, living under a new identity in a remote village in South America. However, rumors of a powerful crime syndicate known as the Silver FWN begin spreading. This syndicate, notorious for trafficking and large-scale corruption, has a reputation for wiping out entire communities that resist them. When the Silver Fang arrives in Calia's village, its enforcers inadvertently bring her back into a world she was hoping to leave behind. Calia's conflict. The Silver Fang quickly realizes they've made a grave mistake in provoking Catalia, as she is once again drawn into a spiral of vengeance. The villagers rally around her as she becomes their guardian angel and protector, but Catalia realizes this fight isn't just about one village, it's about something far larger. The Silver Fang has ties with corrupt politicians, international drug trafficking, and even some of her old enemies who have resurfaced to hunt her down. New characters and allies. Catalia encounters a skilled hacker, NCO, who was once a part of an underground cyber group before being forced into hiding after a run-in with the syndicate. Together they work to expose the syndicate's activities and weaken its network. Nico brings in an additional level of danger, but also emotional complexity, as he begins to see Catalia as more than just a skilled assassin, and Catalia's struggle between vulnerability and survival becomes a key narrative point. Rising tension as Catalia and Nico move deeper into dismantling the syndicate. They face betrayal, loss, and increasingly lethal confrontations. Calia's dark past is constantly referenced, testing her resilience as she confronts her own violent tendencies. This is not just a battle against enemies, but against her inner demons, particularly when the syndicates head, a man known as El Alacrán, begins targeting innocent people close to her, forcing Catalia into a corner where no one is safe. Climactic showdown. The film's climax brings Catalia face to face with El Alacrán in an intense showdown at the syndicate's high-tech, isolated compound deep in the jungle. Here Catalia has to fight not only to save herself and those she's come to care about, but also to find some form of redemption. The fight is raw, unforgiving, and shows her full capabilities as she takes down the syndicate's most elite guards, battling for justice and closure. Ending, the film ends with Catalia once again alone, but at peace, knowing she has avenged those who suffered at the hands of the Silver FWN. Nico returns to his underground network with a promise that he'll be there if she ever needs him. Catalia, with scars both visible and hidden, walks into the sunset, symbolizing her endless fight for justice and the price of survival. Overall tone: the sequel maintains the gritty, high-stakes action and intense emotional stakes of the original, with a more in-depth exploration of Catalia's psyche. Colombiana 2 promises to deliver heart-pounding action while diving into questions of loyalty, vengeance, and the cost of a life lived in shadows. Plot for Colombiana 2. 2025. Colombiana 2 takes us back into the ruthless, high-octane world of Catalia Restrepo, portrayed once again by Zoe Saldana, set several years after the events of the first movie. The sequel delves into themes of legacy, redemption, and the relentless pull of a past riddled with violence. Act 1: the calm before the storm. Since avenging her parents' deaths, Catalia has managed to stay under the radar, living quietly in the remote village of San Miguel, deep within the jungles of South America. Under an assumed identity, she sought peace, and the villagers view her as a mysterious but protective figure. Catalia has begun to soften, even building connections with some villagers, including a young girl, Camila, who looks up to her, but her tranquil life is shattered in a powerful cartel known as the T Silver FWN begins expanding its territory, headed by the ruthless and elusive leader known only as El Alacrán the Scorpion. The syndicate engages in drug trafficking, arms dealing, and human exploitation. San Miguel is targeted due to its strategic location for trafficking routes, and the cartel wastes no time making its presence known through violence and terror. Act 2: Catalia resurfaces when Silver Fang enforcers assault San Miguel. Catalia is forced to reveal her skills defending the villagers with lethal precision. Witnessing her unmatched ferocity, the cartel quickly realizes that Catalia is no ordinary resident. Her actions gain notoriety, and El Alacrán becomes intrigued by rumors of La Tigresa, the Tigress defend a small village. During one skirmish, Catalia meets Nico, a former hacker from a European activist network footprint, and offers to help her in exchange for protection. Though hesitant to work with anyone, Catalia recognizes Nico's skills and agrees, seeing in Opportunity to disrupt the cartel on a larger scale. Act 3, the fight for just justice and survival. With Nico's help, Catalia begins targeting the cartel's resources, destroying shipments, intercepting communications, and undermining Silver Fong's hold on nearby communities. Her actions enrage Al Auren, who responds by sending elite assassins to San Miguel. The attacks escalate, becoming personal when the cartel captures and kills Camila, the young girl. Catalia had grown attached to Camila's death pushes Catalia over the edge, unleashing her deepest rage. No longer content to simply disrupt operations, she makes it her mission to hunt down El Alacran and dismantle Silver Fong entirely. The villagers, though fearful, offer their support, and Ni becomes a loyal ally, risking his life to assist her in every way he can act for. Entering the lion's den, Catalia learns of El Alacran's stronghold, a fortress deep in the jungle, outfitted with advanced technology, Oleg, and heavily guarded with Nico's digital infiltration. She discovers the compound's weaknesses and embarks on a deadly mission, navigating treacherous terrain and fending off the cartel's relentless mercenaries. Nico provides remote support, but is eventually captured, forcing Catalia to accelerate her plan to rescue him and confront El Auren. Directly inside the compound, Catalia encounters a labyrinth of traps and ruthless guards. With her experience and brutal efficiency, she eliminates them one by one, her skills in combat and survival proving unmatched. Finally, she faces El Alacran, who is revealed to be a former military strategist with a personal vendetta against anyone who challenges his empire. Act 5, the final showdown. In a heart-pounding confrontation, Catalia and El Alacran engage in a brutal fight. Despite his strength and cunning, he is no match for Catalia. As agility and resolve after a relentless battle, Catalia defeats El Alacran, avenging Camila's death and liberating San Miguel and the surrounding communities from the cartel's control. She frees Nico, who, though injured, vows to continue using his skills to expose criminal organizations and fight for justice. Catalia realizes that while she may never escape her violent past, she can at least use her skills to protect the innocent. Epilogue, a new legacy. The final scenes show Catalia leaving San Miguel, now a folk hero among the villagers. She walks away from her temporary home with a sense of purpose, determined to confront other syndicates and criminals that prey on the defenseless. Nico, now a trusted ally, goes underground but promises to stay in touch, hinting at a network of allies who share her mission. Catalia is once again on her own, but has evolved from a lone avenger into a beacon of resistance against injustice, embarking on a journey that might finally bring her peace if only she can survive the path ahead. Production background: Colombiana 2 2025 builds upon the cult status of the original Colombiana 2011, a film that combined pounding action with a deeply personal revenge plot, directed by Olivier Megaton and written by Luc Besson and Robert Mark Kamen. The first film brought viewers into the dangerous world of Catalia Restrepo, a fierce assassin driven by vengeance for her parents' murders over the years. The film has gained a dedicated fan base, fueling demand for a sequel that would delve further into Kalia's complex character and offer closure or perhaps a new beginning for her story director. The reins of Colombiana 2 have been taken up by filmmaker David Leitch, known for his work on action-packed films like John Wick, Atomic Blonde, and Hobbs and Shaw. His flair for meticulously choreographed action sequences combined with narrative depth and character exploration makes him a fitting choice to take Kalia's journey to new levels. Production studio and writers produced by Europa Corp and Sony Pictures. The script has been penned by emerging screenwriters known for their work in gritty dramas, focusing on a narrative that emphasizes character development alongside high-stakes action, with a reputed director and dedicated writing team. Colombiana 2 promises to be a worthy successor with strong character focus and cinematic appeal. Encore. Encore, 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 underscore. Underscore, underscore, underscore. Underscore. Plot summary in Colombiana 2. Catalia Restrepo, played once again by Zoe Saldana, has attempted to leave her violent past behind, seeking solace in a quiet life in the secluded South American village of San Miguel. However, peace is fleeting when a ruthless cartel known as the Silver FWN, led by the enigmatic El Auron the Scorpion, encroaches upon her new home. They unleash terror on the villagers, capturing and killing innocents and forcing Catalia back into action. Catalia, joined by a skilled hacker named Nico, who shares his own vendetta against the cartel, sets out on a path to destroy the syndicate. Nico becomes her tech-savvy ally, helping her disrupt the cartel's network from the inside. Together, they attempt to bring down the powerful criminal empire, facing betrayal, violence, and a fight for survival. The climax sees Catalia confronting El Alacran in his high-security jungle compound, leading to an intense showdown that tests both her physical prowess and emotional resilience. Underscore, underscore, encore. Encore, underscore, encore, encore, encore. Encore, 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 underscore, encore, encore. Encore, 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 underscore, encore. Encore, encore, underscore, encore, encore. Encore, encore. Casting and performances. Zoe Saldana reprises her role as Catalia, bringing a depth of experience in portraying both physical action and emotional vulnerability. Saldana's portrayal is expected to delve into the toll of a life spent in shadows, showcasing a blend of fierce determination and subtle moments of inner encore themes in tone. Colombiana 2 is not just an action movie, it carries underlying themes of redemption, inner peace, and the price of vengeance. The film carefully juxtaposes Kalia's violent skills with her longing for a more peaceful existence, giving audiences a deeper look into the toll that constant combat and isolation have taken on her psyche. One redemption and legacy. The movie dives into Kalia's emotional journey as she grapples with the effects of her vengeance-driven life. Her bond with the villagers, particularly a young girl named Camila, gives her a glimpse into what life could be beyond violence, while her alliance with Nico introduces trust into her world of calculated caution. To justice versus revenge. In the sequel, Kalia's fight transcends personal vendetta and enters the realm of social justice as she strives to protect her new community. This shift offers a refreshing complexity to her character, making her a hero not just for herself but for others. 3. Sacrifice and survival. The narrative unflinchingly shows the stakes and sacrifices involved, especially when innocent lives are caught in the crossfire. These themes add a sense of realism, grounding the film and making it resonate with audiences beyond the thrill of action. Encore. 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 Underscore. 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 Encore. Underscore. Encore. Underscore. 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 Encore. 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 Underscore. Encore. 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 Action sequences and cinematography under David Leitch's direction. The action choreography in Colombiana 2 is expected to be visceral and precise, blending hand-to-hand combat with sleek tactical maneuvers. The film makes ample use of the South American jungle setting, utilizing lush, dense environments and hidden compounds to create suspense. The contrast between Catalia guerrilla-style attacks and the cartel's high-tech security fortifies the film's central conflict and showcases her tactical ingenuity. The cinematography is visually striking, with warm, shadowy tones that reflect the mystery of the jungle, setting in the tension-laden atmosphere. High-energy sequences, including a climactic showdown in the cartel's compound, are likely to be fan favorites, highlighting Kalia's growth as both a tactician and a fighter. Underscore. Encore. 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 Underscore. Encore. 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 Underscore. Critical review. Pros. 1. Engaging storyline. The film's balanced approach to both character development and action ensures that Catalia is a fully fleshed out protagonist, appealing to both new viewers and longtime fans. 2. Performance by Salana Sanah's portrayal of Catalia brings weight and empathy to the role, making the character's internal struggle deeply relatable. 3. Exceptional action and direction. David Leitch's direction brings a high-quality, polished look to the action sequences, keeping them both stylish and intense. Cons. 1. Potential predictability for audiences familiar with action tropes. Parts of the plot, such as Catalia seeking redemption or a climactic battle against the cartel leader, may feel somewhat formulaic. 2. Dark tone. The movie's unrelenting tone of violence and tension may be off-putting for viewers looking for lighter action. Fair underscore. Encore, 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 encore. 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 Encore, 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 underscore. Encore, encore, encore. Encore. Conclusion. Colombian at 2 is positioned to be a thrilling, thoughtful successor to the original, delivering on both action and character depth. The movie's darker themes, complex characters, and polished action sequences make it a promising film that respects and expands upon its predecessor, honoring the legacy of Catalina Restrepo while offering something fresh and intense with a strong creative team, a compelling plot, and stellar performances. Colombiana 2 is likely to captivate fans of the original while earning new admirers for its unapologetic exploration of vengeance, justice, and survival. Colombiana 2 in 2025 has not been officially announced or confirmed by the original film's producers or studios. Let's discuss previous parts. Colombiana is a 2011 French-English language action thriller film kitten and produced by Luc Besson and directed by Olivier Megaton. The film stars Zoe Sala with supporting roles by Michael Von Cliff, Curtis, Lenny James, Callum Blue, and Jordi Mola. The film is about Catalina, a 9-year-old girl in Colombia whose family is killed by a drug lord 15 years later. A grown Catalina seeks her revenge. The film had a generally unfavorable reception from critics, but Sana's performance and action sequences were praised. It grossed $63.4 million against a $40 million production budget. Plot: in 1992 in Bogota, Colombia, drug baron Don Luis Sandoval sends his enforcer Marco and a gang of armed men to kill his gang member Fabio Restrepo and his family because Fabio has defied him by trying to leave his prolific drug crime activity behind. Fabio gives his 9-year-old daughter Catalina a smart media computer memory card loaded with information on Don Lee's business and tells her it's her passport. He also gives her the address of her uncle Emilio in Chicago, Illinois, who will take care of her. Finally, he leaves her with her mother's Catalina orchid necklace after Fabio and his wife Alicia are gunned down. Catalina escapes and seeks asylum at the U.S. Embassy. She is granted passage to the United States after handing over the memory card to embassy staff, although American officials attempt to transfer her into the foster care system. Catalina tracks down her uncle in Chicago and asks him to train her as a killer. 15 years later, in 2007, a grown Catalina has become an accomplished assassin. Emilio serves as the lives of his own family, but she admits that she does not care about the risk to his family while she is spending the night with her American boyfriend, Danny Delaney. He takes a photo of her sleeping and then shows it to a friend, who then decides to run a background check on Catalina, which alerts the FBI. Meanwhile, FBI agent James Ross is working to identify the killer behind more than 20 unsolved murders, all of which have Catalina orchids left behind. He gets a pin on Kalia's photo from the background check and orders her arrest. But Catalia escapes and reaches out to Amello only to find that she has indeed caused the brutal slaughter of Amello and his entire family. She confronts Ross at his home and threatens to kill him and his entire family, forcing him to reach out to CIA agent Steve Richard, who she knows is sheltering Don Lees from the law in exchange for his cooperation with American authorities. When she threatens to slaughter Richard's family, Richard gives her the Don's location. Don Lees learns that Catalia is still alive and organizes his men to kill her, but she ambushes them first and wipes out the entire gang, including Marco. Don Lees flees and swears revenge. Catalia, having planted her specially trained attacked dogs in his escape vehicle, orders them to eat alive. Danny is interrogated by Ross. Catalia calls him from a payphone. They talk briefly before Ross grabs Danny's phone, but Catalia hangs up, leaving town. On a bus, casts Zoe Sana as Catalia, a contract killer who seeks revenge when her drug-dealing father and mother are murdered by their criminal associates. Jordi Mola as Marco. Don Lees, main enforcer and the man who executed Kalia's parents while she watched Lenny. James as Ross, FBI special agent tasked with investigating Kalia's assassinations. Amanda Stenberg as 10-year-old Catalia. Callum Blue as Richard, CIA agent who arranged Don Lees' relocation in cooperation. Cynthia Adai Robinson as Alicia, Kalia's mother, who is killed along with her husband Jesse Go as Fabio, Kalia's father and a drug business partner of Don Lees, who was ordered killed when he tried to quit the criminal life. Ophelia Medina as Mama. Emilio's mother Angel Jica as Pepe. Emilio's father Sam Douglas as Willie. Ward Graham McTavish as head U.S. Marshal. Warren Max Martini as Agent Robert. Williams B. Bonnets as Don Luis, a Colombian drug lord who ordered the killing of Kalia's family, then cut a deal with the CIA. Michael Vaughn as Danny Delan, Kalia's boyfriend and artist. He knows Catalia as Jennifer. Cliff Curtis as Alilio Restrepo, Kalia's uncle and professional killer who raises and trains her after her parents were killed. Production. The script for Colombiana was based on Matilda, which was originally written by Luc Besson as a sequel to Lon the Professional after a disagreement with the Gaunt Film Company on how to proceed with the film. Besson and director Olivier Megaton reworked the script into a standalone film. Filming began in August 2010 in locations including Chicago, New Orleans, Mexico, and France. The film was produced by Bess's Europa Corp Company and the script was written by Besson and Robert Mark Kamen. David Martin Jones, in an essay written for Senses of Cinema, stated that the film was likely to have been perceived by audiences to be an American Hollywood production, noting that aping the look of a Hollywood genre film with a non-US twist had been used in previous European films. Reception. Critical response on the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes. 28% of 107 critics' reviews are positive with an average rating of 4.9. SL10. The website's consensus reads: Zoe Salana has the chops, but she's taken out by erratic and sloppy. Filmmaking Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 45 out of 100 based on 22 critics indicating mixed or average reviews. Christy Lammer of the Associated Press reviewed Colombiana, writing that the director of Lane Nikita and The Fifth Element serves as co-writer and producer here, but this is very much a spin-off of his brand, a continuation of the kind of stereotype and gravity-defying characters he's made his name on. Colombiana feels more hammy and muscular, though, but knowingly so, and that's what makes it solid late summer escapist fun.